What's particularly hard about your job day to day?
One thing that's really hard is just making that assessment because there's an infinite amount of entrepreneurs and you'd love to support all of them because all of them have passion, they have heart, they want to make a change in the world and they feel like really passionate about that change they want to make in the world.
Yeah.
And so you'd like to fund everybody,
Yeah.
but you can't do that. And we've got a return to in order to attract the capital, we have to provide great returns to our investors. And so
Yeah.
you really have to be discerning and you have to let people down because you're not investing in their company. So the hardest thing is to
Yeah.
say no, especially when you really like the entrepreneur,
Right.
you really are rooting for them and you want them to go fight the good fight, but it's not the proof or the evidence isn't there yet, or you're not 100% certain. So you can't make the investment. And we make for every investment that we hear, we probably make one out of 200 companies that pitch to us.
Yeah.
We only bet in and put investment in one out of 200. So that's probably the most challenging and
Yeah.
disappointing just because you would love to support everybody, but you can't.
And thinking about the founders that you do support, when they have those foundational pieces in place,
Yeah.
they have strong market fit, they
Yeah.
have a strong go-to-market strategy, they've done all the thing operationally to be strong foundationally, understand the unit economics to really go and attack markets. What would you say? I think about managing people as a huge headache in terms of variables that are outside of your control. And thinking about founders and their experience, there's managing people, there's client relationships. What do you see a lot of founders consistently needing to adopt to or adapt to, being that it's non-traditional? You typically have an evangelist or someone who comes from an industry. They may not have brought or built out a team. That type of skill set is a huge learning curve for a lot of founders. What would you say keeps them up at night when thinking about building and motivating teams?
Yeah. So interestingly, I do feel like entrepreneurship is a really tough and lonely game because usually if it's you and one co-founder, you guys have the weight of the world to really make this opportunity happen and stuff. So you feel that pressure and you feel that the burn rate and what you've got in the bank and what you're burning per month, that kind of runway
Yeah.
keeps getting smaller and smaller with each month that passes. So you feel the intensity and the pressure to really get it to work, get the customers to love it, get the customers to start spending money. And so that pressure is really important. And there's not a big team, right? It's the two founders, and then you've got people that you're hiring that might not have the same kind of pressure that you do because you're putting in
Right.
money, raising money from people. But I think managing that type of stress, you got to be built for it and you got to know what you're getting into because sometimes entrepreneurship sounds very sexy, but you really do have to love the problem that you're trying to solve. And you really have to be manic and obsessive
Yeah. Yeah.
about wanting to really solve this problem. And if it's just, oh, I'm just doing this for fun and to make money, it's going to be a really tough haul because there's just so
Yeah.
many pivots and iterations that you have to make to really keep moving your company in the right direction.
Mhm.
And so I think from a founder's point of view, that's really challenging and you really got to love and be passionate about what you're doing for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. And being that like a lot of founders have to work with, say, remote teams, for instance, how are they able to communicate that? Is it through culture establishing meetings or sessions? Is
Yeah.
it reinforcing
Yeah.
them through different practices? How do they do that?
Yeah.
How do they communicate to keep everybody in focus?
Yeah, no, I think Scott Galloway just wrote a blog post about storytelling. And you
Yeah.
think about the entrepreneur, he really has to be a master storyteller, right? Because you're trying to get all your employees aligned on a vision and you have to make that vision sound exciting and get people's energy up around it. You have to get investors excited about it. You got to get your
Yeah.
customers excited about it. One of the key skill sets for any entrepreneur is storytelling. And and if you're doing it online, it's even more difficult than when you're in person. So you got to be
Right.
a great storyteller. You got to bring your energy, bring your passion, and be articulate about where we're
Yeah.
going so that people understand it and they're like, yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah.
Let's go. Right. And so
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
to me is like the key skill set is storytelling.
Yeah. What's something that you've seen, even maybe in your experience as well, something that founders are not necessarily good at in the onset of their entrepreneurial journey that they could be better at joining on or focus on or develop skills now, even if they're in the midst of building the startup that could help impact their overall business outcomes and themselves as a leader? Anything coming to
Yeah.
mind?
Yeah. No, I just read recently some article that said, or some quote that said, first time founders focus on the customer value proposition. What's the product? and the product needs to be great.
Yeah.
And second time founders focus on go-to-market strategy, right? Because
Yeah.
in other words, it's like the first time you're so obsessed with a product, you can have a great product. And yes, a great product does help you sell through and helps word of
Yeah.
mouth, but you really have to have the same sort of passion and experimentation around your go-to-market strategy and what are the channels that are going to give you the lowest CAC, cost per acquisition, cost acquisition of a
Yep.
customer. You got to get that really low, and you got to be really creative about how do I find my customers? How do I go to market? What channels can I use? What direct sales?
Yeah.
What's the best way and the cheapest way
Yeah.
to get my product out to the globe? And that's really challenging when Facebook and Google are charging you a ton of money for
Yeah.
eyeballs on any given search result or anything else. So I do think that, again, just when you're a first-time founder, you're more focused on the product. When you're a second-time founder, you expand your horizon more and you really
Yeah.
understand how important go-to-market is, or business unit economics, as we've talked about. So again, that's a general trend. And then every individual is a little bit different, right? Like your strength and weakness profile is different than mine, different than Fred's. Everyone
Sure.
has what kind of mistakes I'm going to make depends on what my profile of strengths and weaknesses is. And so I find that individually, it's different for everybody. What you need to grow and learn about is different. And you come into it different depending on who you are.